All right, so Coaches Show Week 3. We're back. As you can see, we have someone new here. We got Jonathan Gibson on board. I think maybe he gives us a little bit of credibility. But he brings a lot of experience with this kind of thing. I'm very excited to have him on board helping us out. So we're going to turn it over to him. The idea here is he's going to sort of lead us off. We're going to talk about last week, and then we'll transition into what we're doing this week and this week's opponent. So,
Coach, big week last week. You had a chance to look at the Mansfield game, the season opener, and we talked about how much improvement can be made during that first and second game, and I think we saw a lot of that Friday night, especially, offensively. Take a look at that. Your running game was much more balanced, and you saw some different guys get some opportunities and make the most of it.
Right. It's very important for us to take some pressure off Ashton. He's kind of the guy that makes us go, but we have to have 3 or 4 other guys that can get quality carries, and when they got the ball in their hands, they can make something positive happen. But it started kind of with the offensive line. We picked up our assignments a lot better this week, and that showed.
And it did. They had some open holes to go through. You mentioned Ashton. Ethan Vasquez had some good opportunities as well. In different times, different guys stepped up and showed what they're capable of doing, which obviously that helps building into as you want to continue to progress as the season goes on.
Right. Yeah. They just got to keep making steps forward every week and getting better every week. And like you said, I think we saw that last Friday night, and it showed on the stat sheet.
Ashton Dromer, again, another 100-plus yard rushing yard performance. Gave you a little bit of a different look at times when you put him at quarterback in that direct snap situation, and gave the opponent there a little more frustration, I thought.
Right, trying to get him in different spots on the field and get him the ball in space and just confuse the defense a little bit, make them think about one thing and maybe do something different. And that's one thing we were able to do.
Played fast as well. The tempo was up a little bit more.
Yeah. And that helps too when things are going right. You can start going a little bit faster. Kids get a little more confidence, and that's always a good thing. Once you're moving the ball and they feel like, hey, we're moving the football, let's go faster, and the confidence thing, and that helps a lot.
One big difference that I noticed from looking at the box was defense this week. Defense played much faster. Gave up some big stops. I think Waldron only got within the red zone. Hardly even got within the red zone. They got down to the 15-yard line offensively on one occasion. Guys were at the hustle to the football, making contact, getting in the backfield. As we talked about after the game, a lot quicker pace there.
Right. That's one thing we worked on for pretty much 2 weeks straight is playing downhill. That's something we didn't do against Mansfield. We kind of played side to side, and if you're playing side to side, you're giving the offense yards. And secondary did a really good job of coming downhill and making some plays at the line of scrimmage, which is something that has to be done in our defensive scheme. They have to be able to run fast and get downhill and make plays to help out those interior 7 guys.
Saw a little bit of a higher intensity, maybe. Some of the hits, there was a couple in the box I'm watching, I'm like, ooh, wow. It seemed like they were kind of coming into their own. Because we talked about how young you are,
right?
And it seemed like those youngsters are starting to come into their own a little bit.
So just being more comfortable in the scheme and what they're supposed to be doing allows you to play faster and more downhill. So I think you're seeing that, just being more comfortable with what we're trying to do and what our defensive game plan is, and that showed as well.
Been fortunate and blessed to cover a lot of 2A football over the years, and the thing that I enjoyed was your kicking game. To see the kicking game come about, I'm like, of course you always have a good kicker in Trace as well, but Carlos Marcos really stepped up, and I thought, wow, this is a really neat added threat that gives you some more opportunities offensively.
Well, right now I feel like if we're inside the 30-yard line, I feel like we have points right now. Carlos is kicking the field goals and PATs really well, and then Diego Hernando is doing our kickoff duties. And if you're putting it inside the 5-yard line, pretty much every kick, you're gonna defense. It helps the defense out a lot.
Well, you mentioned that, and that's just an added bonus because generally it's been my history with teams that you don't see a lot. The kicking game is pretty strong at some levels,
right?
And for you to have an asset like those two, like I said, that's points on the board right there.
Yeah, that's extra points on both sides of the ball, flipping field position, stuff like that. That's football, and sometimes you get those close games, it's a field position game.
All right, so good breakdown. Just had one question sort of popped in my head while you guys were talking. Any surprises? Anybody surprise you?
Felix Oxendorf, he's another foreign exchange student that's playing for us, and he actually started at left tackle and had a very good game at left tackle. You know, he's obviously he's never played football before, but he's picked up and learned the scheme very fast, and he's a guy that I feel comfortable can go in and make some plays.
So we talked about losing Terrence Thurman. I'm guessing that helped quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a guy that can step in and give us some quality